Howdy folks, today I'm going to make some blackberry drinks. I've got 3 ways to get blackberry into your favorite cocktail. I've got a shrub, I got a liqueur, and I got a syrup. Let's go. So it is not blackberry season anymore, at least not where I live, but there are ways to get that summer flavor back into your drinks. The first is to make a shrub. Another is to make a liqueur. And the third is to dehydrate. Now I've got lots of videos about making shrub. I will link to the Blackberry Shrub video down below. And in those videos you'll see that there's a byproduct of making the shrub, which is you can take the Dunnings and just put some alcohol on it, and you've got sort of a instant, easy liqueur. So I got blackberry liqueur because I made blackberry shrub earlier this summer. Now, the third thing you can do is dehydrate. My friend Justin made some dehydrated blackberry for me. He didn't make it for me, but he made it for himself. But he gave me some because he's a nice fellow. Now, all you got to do for that is dehydrate it in like a dehydrator. I think you could probably use the oven like on a very low setting, and then he ground it up in like a spice grinder, but I'm sure you could use a Cuisinart or whatever you got. It makes this really nice purple powder. Pretty cool. So I'm just going to take each of these and make a drink, and just to demonstrate how you might incorporate some of these ingredients into a drink you may be working on. Okay, so number 1 is shrub. Now, as I said before, I make a lot of shrub videos, and one of my favorite moves is to make basically a classic margarita. This works great at like a party, especially if you have multiple shrubs on hand, because if you're having a party or going to a party, you could bring margarita mixings, and then you could give people a choice. You want strawberry, you want blackberry, you want raspberry, you want, I don't know, plum, whatever you got. Pretty neat. Okay, now, shrub is pretty acidic from the vinegar, and so when you put it in your margarita, you want to adjust the lime juice down. It's also got sugar in it, so you want to also adjust the sweetener down a bit. So from like a standard margarita recipe, 1.5 ounces tequila, let's say, I would, instead of doing 3/4 lime and 3/4 orange liqueur, I'll go half of each of those, and then I can add in a 1/2 ounce of shrub. Now this usually works out great for me, but as usual, if you should adjust for your local conditions. If your shrub is more sweet or less sweet, or you like your margarita one way or the other, adjust your recipes as needed. Alright, I'm also using this dehydrated powder as a garnish, as you'll see. I think that looks pretty cool. Let's give this a shot. It's a very nice marg. It's got a beautiful color. It is nice and crisp, which I like. It's not really summer anymore, but on a summer day, amazing. It's got kind of a light berry flavor. It's not like an overpowering amount of blackberry. I find that the blackberry has a little bit more trouble getting through in a shrub. I really like it, but sometimes the strawberry and the raspberry work a little bit better. They have like more fruit flavor, but the blackberry is very dramatic, and I really like it a lot. Okay, now our second method is going to be blackberry liqueur. As I've said before, I've made this myself. And it's pretty strong. I put probably a little bit too much Smith & Cross when I extracted the blackberry in this. So I'm not always so fond of sipping the liqueur, but as like an additive to the base spirit of, say, a daiquiri, I think it works out great. But this would also work, if you didn't make blackberry liqueur, this would also work with like any kind of fruit, distilled fruit product, like a framboise maybe, or any kind of fruit liqueur that's been distilled and not just, steeped. Maybe like a schnapps. Anything that's a higher proof, you could switch it out as part of the base spirit. So when I make this daiquiri, I'm gonna do 1.5 ounces of rum, but a 1/2 ounce of Blackberry Liqueur as well. Then I'll go ahead and do lime and sugar as usual. I'm gonna go ahead and use brown sugar syrup in this. I've been liking that in daiquiris lately, and you know, I'm trying to use it up. Okay, so I mean, I really like how this dehydrated blackberry powder sits on the rim like a salted rim, but not salted, obviously. We're gonna see how this tastes. Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I was a little skeptical at first of my blackberry liqueur, thinking when you sip it by itself, it isn't that blackberry-y, but actually really is comes through pretty well in this. It's got this beautiful purple color, of course. And like, I mean, a daiquiri is the best. The brown sugar I was worried would take over a little bit, but it's actually fine. I'm gonna have another sip. Man, delightful. Yeah, and like a nice fruitiness, but it's not overwhelmingly fruity. It's not too sweet, that's for sure. Some people do complain about, you know, drinks with too much fruit in it being sweet, but this one is not too sweet. I give that a thumbs up. Now, the third thing I'm gonna do is make blackberry syrup. I thought this would be a good way to use this dehydrated blackberry powder that Justin made. So I just made a quick 1-to-1 simple syrup with white sugar. I did 100 grams of sugar and 100 grams of water. I went ahead and put in 4 teaspoons of dehydrated blackberry. I did a tablespoon, and then I thought I could add a little more, and I put in another teaspoon. Because obviously a tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. That makes perfect sense. All right, that's a logical system. Anyway, you know, it might have been, you know, 20 milliliters of powder. I don't know how much it weighed. I didn't weigh. It made a pretty delicious little syrup, which I might add back to my blackberry liqueur because, you know, I could always add a little more blackberry flavor to that liqueur. It's kind of an ongoing project. Anyway, let's make this whiskey sour. I mean, look at that. The powder on top of the foam, that looks amazing. I love it. I love that. Again, anything you put blackberry in is going to have this beautiful, like, dark color. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard to mess up a whiskey sour. It has a nice... Again, blackberry just adds a nice sort of general fruitiness to the things. This powder works really nice as a garnish, especially when you put it on the side of the glass, and you can taste a little bit when you drink it. Yeah, I mean, it's got a very, not a sharp, it's almost like a malty taste. It's not sweet really, but it's just like, it's like pure berry flavor. It's kind of amazing. Blackberry isn't like an assertive upfront kind of a berry flavor. It's more, gives you more sort of a general berry vibe, which, you know, I personally think is pretty good. Adds a dramatic color, gives a fruity vibe, but doesn't overpower the drink. I mean, that's terrific, right? In conclusion, there are, of course, various ways to incorporate ingredients into your drink. In the case of a shrub, it can replace both the acid and the sugar a little bit, you know, so you can adjust that way. In the case of like a higher proof thing, you can definitely use it as part of the base spirit. And of course, a flavored simple syrup, we all know, will always add to your drink. So 3 ways to get blackberry into your drink. And not just blackberry, any berry or any fruit. No rules. So this dehydrated blackberry powder is pretty fun. I might have to dehydrate some more things next summer. You know, it'd be nice to have other powdered fruits around. You could mix for a great garnish. You could definitely reconstitute it into a simple syrup. You could probably infuse it straight into anything you wanted, and I bet you could even just put some into the tin when you're shaking a drink. Just add a little fruitiness and a nice color to just about any drink. Yeah, why not? Yeah, so thanks to Justin for that dehydrated blackberry powder. Really awesome. Thanks for watching. Don't be a stranger, and we'll see you next time.